How many times in your life have you said the words, "Oh my God"? Okay, for young people now you say OMG. You know that means oh my God. Here is a mystery from Jesus' day. People said, "Oh my God," as well. They said this phrase when they were happy, they were cheerful, when they were excited, and when they were sad. When the news of Jesus' death reached Thomas, he probably said, "Oh my God." The idea that the Messiah was to die a horrible death was not a part of the plan. It was not until decades later that people applied the suffering servant chapters of the book of Isaiah, chapters 50 to 55, to Jesus. Now, according to John's gospel, John was the only disciple who stayed with Jesus' mother Mary at the cross. Therefore, Thomas would have heard about Jesus' death. When he entered the room where his colleagues were, he was confused, he was overwhelmed. Fear overcame him. He was probably angry too. An array of different emotions filled his soul. This was common for Semitic people. Not only do they get very emotional, they also show you this, either by their words or actions. You know if a Semitic person is happy or sad. When Jesus appeared before Thomas, Thomas felt elated. He said, "OMG." He may or may not have been calling Jesus God, but he was so excited to see him alive. Culture was different in Jesus' day, and it's important that I share this point with you. First, it was common to be told a family member or friend died, and then the person knocks at your door. Communications for the common people barely existed. To know if your brother made it safely, let's say from Nazareth to Bethlehem, he would have to send you a message with a caravan heading back to Nazareth. It would not have been written on a written note because papyrus was very expensive and poor peasants couldn't afford that. So let's say you learn that your brother's caravan was attacked by bandits. That was very common in Jesus' day. And since you have not seen him for a while, you may conclude that he's dead. A few months later, he returns to Nazareth. There would be a grand celebration. The person who everyone presumed to be dead is alive and well. The sad OMG from the caravan news turned into a happy OMG. That's exactly what happened to Thomas. He could have been calling Jesus God. Don't let that go if you believe that. Just remember the angel announcing Jesus, or Jesus himself, never called him God. It may not matter to you because we know Jesus incarnate. The term Didymus is a Greek word meaning twin. However, in this sense, it refers to the one disciple who was selected to take Jesus' place. Yes, I know that Jesus' replacement, and you've been told this in church, was either Peter, James, or John. In the Near East, toward Rome, that is true. Jesus sent Thomas to India. If you find a St. Thomas church, you can learn about how Jesus met Thomas in India for 2 weeks and taught him all the mysteries. Thomas did not doubt that Jesus was standing before him. I know that the church tradition and many published Bibles like to say, doubting Thomas. If you want to believe that, that's cool. However, a part of my calling is to bring you the original meaning of the word. Thomas had no doubts. He was surprised to see Jesus because someone has told him he's dead. Why did Jesus tell him to place a finger in the holes of his hands and feet? This is the proof in this gospel that Jesus really died on the cross. That tells us that some forms of Christianity in the late 1st century CE was raising serious doubts about Jesus' death on the cross. This is a proof that Jesus was on the cross and he died there. The bigger shock, which is not mentioned at these post-resurrection meetings, is the surprise of a dead Jesus appearing. Actually, when I say dead, I am referring to his flesh and blood body. If you go back to the story of Mary seeing Jesus on the third day in John's Gospel, you will find Jesus told Mary not to touch him because he had not yet transcended. That means his physical body was transforming back to a spiritual body. In this resurrection appearance narrative, Jesus was still partly flesh. Therefore, Thomas could put his hand in the holes. Jesus knew that would not last very long. And actually, we know it lasted 40 days, according to the book of Acts. There are doubters today who question the resurrection event and Jesus as Messiah and God incarnate. Think about this for a moment. There are plenty of things that occur in our universe that we cannot explain. We must accept it as the universe. For example, between my freshman and sophomore year in college, I worked at Great Adventure Amusement Park. It's now called Six Flags in New Jersey. I was assigned to the parking lot, and one day I was told to park the buses. No training. So I stood in front of the bus to guide it into the parking spot. However, that's now how buses are parked. The bus roars through the parking spot and then backs up into it. And for an instant, I thought I was dead meat. However, something pushed me clear of the bus. I would stake everything on this fact. I did not think that I could move that fast, and today I believe that I have a guardian angel looking out for my stupid moves that I might make. I cannot prove it scientifically, however, I am alive to tell the tale. I bet most of you have a story that cannot be logically or scientifically explained. Well, we cannot explain God. The ways that the universe works and how God deals with us is something we must accept as a gift and without any doubt and rejoice. Just because science or technology cannot prove that Jesus appeared before Thomas is not what the author is trying to tell us. Rather, he is saying that Jesus was real, Jesus died on the cross, and we should rejoice that God will offer us salvation through our Savior, Jesus Christ. God bless you for listening to this message. I hope it blesses you in some way, shape, or form. And as always, yes, shalom.